So can the IRS show up and levy a paycheck or a bank account just out of the blue?
Well, they can't do it out of the blue. No way they can do it out of the blue. Before they can levy a paycheck or a bank account, they have to send a final notice of intent to levy. Now, here's kind of how the sequence works. You are delinquent. The IRS mails you a notice that says, as I said a minute ago, you're delinquent, you owe us money. All right. And then there's a series of additional letters, CP 501, CP 503. These are notices, these are formal notices. If you look at the upper right hand corner of the letter you get from the IRS, it'll tell you what the CP notice is. The CP 501 and the CP 504, CP 501 and CP 503 are the two preliminary collection notices that they use. And the CP 501 has, relatively benign language. The CP 503 gets a little bit more coarse and not abrasive, but forceful is really the right word. It gets more forceful in the language. All right. And those letters come, about, 8-10 weeks apart or so. And then you get a third letter, CP 504. That's a notice to levy a state tax refund. People confuse that letter for a general levy notice. It is not a general levy notice. If you read the CP 504 very carefully, you will find that the IRS can only levy a state tax refund per that notice. Now, the notice does say, quote, "We will begin to look for other assets," unquote. And that's true. They will look for other assets, but they can't levy an income stream or a bank account or an automobile until they send the final notice of intent to levy. Now, a final notice of intent to levy takes a number of different forms, but the language is very clear, and it says final notice, notice of intent to levy, notice of your right to a hearing. They cannot levy so much as a postage stamp from an individual or a business for that matter until they mail out that final notice. The notice gives the taxpayer a 30-day window, all right? So the letter says pay up in 30 days or else. The or else is you have the opportunity to file an appeal called a collection due process appeal. That's a request for a collection due process hearing, and if you file that within 30 days, then that shuts down all collection while your case is considered by the appeals office. You can talk about that in a minute as well. But it's that final notice letter, Josh, that's so important because the IRS can't levy or seize anything until the final notice letter is issued.
What's the difference between a levy and a lien?